All right, hello, welcome back to 1138, celebrating 50 years of Lucasfilm. We are so excited to have you folks join us today. We have got the amazing pilots from Star Wars Resistance with us today. I am TI3900. I am being joined by my cohort, Nina. You want to say hi, Nina?
Hello, I am SL26272 of the Flagship Eclipse.
Perfect, thank you. We are raising money this weekend for First Robotics. It's an incredible charity that works to inspire young people to be science and technology leaders. Click the link below or the link above. I'm not sure where it's going to end up. It might be this way, that way, I'm not sure. But click the link, throw us a couple of bucks. It's a wonderful organization helping kids all around the world in science and technology. So we're going to have a great conversation for the next hour with the amazing aces from Resistance. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your weekend to spend an hour with us. I'm super excited to have you here. I know who everyone is, but if we could just really briefly, we'll start with Christopher. If you could introduce yourself, and for the folks at home who have not watched Resistance yet, if you could just introduce yourself and name your character.
My name is Christopher Sean, and I play Kazuda Xiono in Star Wars Resistance.
I'm Suzie McGrath, and I play Tam Ravora, aka DT533, in Star Wars Resistance.
One of us, one of us.
Yeah.
And I'm Myrna Velasco, voice of Tora Doza on Star Wars Resistance.
I just realized the turquoise behind you matches Tora's colors. So there we go. We're coordinated.
almost
in a
as if that was done intentionally. Awesome.
Should meet Buggles.
Buggles is napping right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm obsessed, by the way, with Boggles.
Oh yes.
Did you see that there was a cage full of Boggles in the recent Bad Batch episode?
Bad Batch, yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh. So fantastic.
Yes. I should know what their species is called and 100% don't. Disneyland.
This is part of the trivia that you guys are going to do on Friday.
Okay, well, I'm taking notes and I'll be ready, okay? But right now.
The Quizmaster is probably writing questions down as he speaks. Myrna does not know. Perfect.
But they're amazing and they're beautiful little creatures. And my brother, who is a huge fan of Bad Batch, called me when that episode aired and was like, why didn't you tell me you're going to be on Bad Batch? And I was like, I'm not. It's just the pet.
The Vorpack, that's what it is.
Yes.
His brain was like, I know it's in there. Where is it? Come on, information.
Yes. Writing it down.
Well, even though I always get attached to the characters in shows, but for some reason, like the animals and whatnot, like especially anything that even remotely resembles a dog or a cat or something of that sort, I was like, oh, I like hyper focus on that.
Same. There are so many animals in the Star Wars universe that I just really wish were real so that I could have several of them. Yes. Like, what's wrong with being a nerf herder? Nerf herders are cool and nerfs are adorable creatures. Right?
If I could have a real life
would love a porg. I could live for porgs all day long. And if you ever get bored of them, of being a pet, they make a wonderful dinner.
Very hearty dinner.
As Chewbacca has proven.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So Nina, do you want to start us off with a question?
Oh, of course, obviously. We had a lot of people at Celebration that loved, like we got to do like this sort of special viewing of the episode 1 of series 2, but in general, like, do you guys have an episode that really resonated with you more, or like one that was your favorite for your character, for just the storyline in general? Maybe we can start with Christopher.
For me, it will always be when Kazuda's home planet was destroyed. I always feel that was the end of season 1, and for me, that was I don't know. I really, and reading that over and over and over prior to going in, I was like, this has got to be such a heartbreaking moment, and it's cataclysmic. I have to make sure that people feel the pain of Kazuto losing his entire family and friends. So that for me, in recording it and being a part of that episode was amazing, because then it also tied in the speech from the movie, and I was like, oh, this is creme de la creme. Great writing, Justin Ridge, Brandon Auman, Athena Portillo, like the entire team who made that happen. Just honored to be a part of it.
I loved that episode. The episode at the end of season 1, where the Colossus rises out of the water, was really, really, really cool. And I have to say, I think some of my favorites were in season 2 in the beginning. It may have been Live Fire, but where you kind of were flipping between the Aces training and then the First Order training, and like that back and forth was really exciting for me, and it really felt Star Wars, you know. So I kind of really, I think those are my favorite.
If I can ask you a follow-up question, Suzie, on that, I feel like Tam is the first time that we've seen a character make that jump to the Empire / the First Order. And I really love that story. I really love her character arc because of that. There was a book where we kind of saw that, but this is the first time we've seen it on screen.
Yeah, and we see a lot of people leaving, but we don't see them going in, and the kind of the process of how does somebody just become part of the First Order. And you know, in a kind of haphazard, by accident way, Tam did. But I think that opened the door to be able to see all of these, you know, just the subtle nuances of how does somebody, you know, somebody that's obviously hurting and confused, start to be manipulated and kind of coerced, and then how do you start to believe what it is you're going for? And I think we all do in our own way, you know, start to believe in something, and then we kind of think that that's the only way and that's the good way or the righteous way. And so it was very interesting and kind of fun to explore that. So I was very privileged and very honored to kind of get to help to tell that story.
She did so with flying colors too. She was promoted twice, was it? After joining, she was squadron second commander, and then the squad leader. Just like bam, 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 all the way up. She had her stuff down.
Yeah, and in a very short time. But it makes you wonder, were they, you know, doing this to her because they had ulterior motives? Also, you know, I've always thought Tam was an amazing pilot. You know, we didn't get to always see that. We didn't get to see that for a whole season. So I think it really was her time to shine and to kind of put those skills to the test and kind of show everybody that, yeah, she was a pilot too. You know, she could be successful in the things that she was doing in her life. So yeah.
Well, she kicked Kaz's butt a couple times. Oh.
And she also really illustrated the importance of how a pilot needs to also be their own first engineer, like very beautifully, in a not so beautiful, in my opinion, fleet. But I'm just saying, that's all.
Something elegant about the First Order's look.
In comparison.
Clean lines. Not quite as colorful though. Not quite as colorful.
Yeah, there's not a lot of room for individuality. I will say that.
Not so much. And then speaking of being an individual, Myrna, your favorite episode or favorite character moment?
Yeah, I'm gonna deviate. I love your guys' episodes. I think you are tear jerkers of actors and voice actors and human beings in general. So definitely was crying a ton when Kaz's planet exploded, because that's like the nicest way to put it, right? No spoilers. And when Tam left us. I'm not taking it personally at all, but my favorite episode, I think it's Rendezvous Point, where we meet Tora's mom.
Yes.
First
Yes,
of all,
yes,
Tam,
yes.
you have really bad role models in the First Order, and I was really glad that not only could Vanessa Doza like bridge the gap of like what's Tora's experience, but that she created kind of this new type of woman for Tam to like realize you can be tough and you can be a really good pilot, and you don't have to submit to this ruling class that doesn't care about you a whole lot, and that you are valuable. And I think that that catalyst of Venice's character was just really cool, and it just made me really proud because that's my mom.
So kind of feeding off of that one, something like, especially with the animated shows of Star Wars, you learn a lot more of sort of not really just like values or virtues, but there are strengths within the show that you don't necessarily get to see in a lot of the movies. So in terms of Resistance, were there any strengths of the show that you thought it really portrayed and showed the audience that other medias and platforms haven't had a chance to?
We're on the diversity panel. You know, like that's one of the greatest things about the series. Yeah,
Yes.
you know, our series was it wasn't following lightsabers, it was following human beings of diversity. And it's really, really great for me to see so much color on camera, on canvas, and to be able to incorporate that diversity in the Star Wars universe. It's just an honor to be a part of that.
Yeah, that reminded me of it must have been like one of our last recording sessions. We were all together, and I looked around the room and I was like, there's like no white identifying people in this room right now. That's really cool, but that's new. And it was just like it's weird that I felt like it needed to be said, but it was also just this really beautiful feeling of like we just didn't have to hide anymore almost, and it felt really good to even be able to blurt something out like that and everybody else be like, yeah, but shut up.
Well, there were white people on the show.
There were. Let me correct. There were definitely white
No,
people.
because there was a bit of everything, and it wasn't just portrayed in the characters, but also in the people behind the mic, and you know, in the studio and everything. Like, it was very diverse, and very, very proud of that. And then also to have some LGBTQ plus family in the show. It's just like, yeah, really, really exciting. And also kind of the, are they, aren't they, you know, kind of wondering. And then I think it was Bobby that found out, and he was like, yeah, they are, you know.
Yeah.
We always love that.
Like, this is
I think they're the
really
first gay
cool.
couple, correct? They're the first gay couple in the Star Wars universe, right? Am I wrong?
That's
On
I think
screen.
on camera. Yeah, on screen, I believe
screen.
they are.
Yeah, we've had some books over the past few years that have characters that are LGBTQ, and but this is the first time we've had it that we can watch it and we can see the relationship with the characters. So
I have another one with the diversity thing, and I know a lot of, especially with all this stuff going on in the world right now, especially for Christopher right now, your dad was played by Ty Ma, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. He's the Asian American father. He's Hollywood's go-to Asian American
America's
father.
favorite Asian daddy. But so did you guys get a chance to actually record with any of the other people who were not necessarily like the main cast, but did you ever interact in the recording studio, or was it more separate, like everybody came in on their own time and you just kind of recorded individually?
We made it a point to work together collectively and cohesively. We didn't want to work with Suzie. That was just it. No, I'm kidding. No.
That's why
No, I'm kidding. No.
they pushed me out at the end of season 1, and that's why I had to go work with the First Order.
we go to our own
Not at all.
recording closet
Work
down
with
the
all
hall.
the villains, so it was cool.
The great thing about Star Wars Resistance was we were at a particular studio, and we had about 7 people in the room all at once, and there was so much chemistry between every person we were working with. Watching Donald Faison work, and Bobby Moyneihan, and Sima, and they flew me to New York, where I got to work with Oscar Isaac, and it was really an amazing experience to be sitting in the room feeling like I'm actually acting on camera with these people, because typically in work sessions with VO, you're in a booth by yourself and you're not typically working off of somebody. So the chemistry is not there. And that's one of the great things about our show is Resistance, is that there was so much chemistry because everyone had this familial feel. We were all a family on the show. And that was one of the most important things that I wanted to contribute to the show, is that there's, we're all a team. Let's work together in making this the best show we possibly can. And again, with great leadership and a great director like Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, we were able to do that. And I loved it.
But I think that's one of the really cool things about Lucasfilm, because it isn't typical to do group recordings, but it's typical for them. And I think it really, really, really works because it's so helpful for the artists, being in a room. I think I counted one day and there was they would take you into the biggest studio possible. And there was at least, I think 12 mics, 12 people at one time. There may have been more, whatever they could get in the studio that was relevant to the story and everything. So we would record as many people as we could fit in there, so fun to play with and to watch everybody. Sorry, Myrna, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I cut you off. I wanted to add on, if I may, that I genuinely felt like that was some of the best and most important acting classes I could have ever taken, is just being in these rooms with these 10 to 12 professionals and then having this entire just army of no pun intended of producers and directors behind the glass, if you will, to just really make sure that we were creating the best possible product we could for Lucasfilm animation. And it's I felt so safe and so privileged to be in that room and to see all of these people work and be able to work with them.
And just to add on to that, one of the coolest moments of us collectively working together was when Senior Cowboy Hat walked in, Mr. Dave Filoni, and gave us a huge speech, and it was compelling and moving. And I was so nervous, I was shaking, but to have him there as the leader, kind of guiding his team, it felt like a dream. It still doesn't feel real. It was amazing.
Right.
The fan community, we have the expression, "In Dave we trust."
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
Silver away. I agree.
So when you're all in the space that way, does that, obviously with voice acting, you have to stick pretty strict to the script, but is there opportunity for ad-libbing at all? Or is it just nope, these are your lines, you can't go off script, you can't, just this is it?
Oh, there's opportunity. So you can kind of come in with options, so you kind of run down your list of what you'd like to try out. And then, I think they were really open to, just you kind of making it your own or offering something, and it would kind of spur other people. And I think, I have to say Josh Brenner was the king of the ad lib, and he's the ad lib guru. So so Nicos Lines are very likely ad-libbed by Josh, I would imagine.
A lot of times it was 2 for you, 1 for me. We do their lines as written, and the third, they're like, "You guys want to play?" We're like, "Yeah." So you hear Josh Brenner or Jason Hightower just kind of going, and man, I'm watching these guys, and Bobby Moyneihan and Jim Rash, I'm watching these guys, Jim Rash, and I'm laughing so hard. They're so talented, man. Kudos to them. This is why they win Academy Awards. This is why the Saturn Award was given to our show as well, because these guys are talented and they know the story, they know their characters through and through, and they just go for it.
I was making funny faces because I feel like anytime Josh Brenner, Jason Hightower, Bobby Moynihan, or Donald Faison were in the room together, it was we're going to be here 4 hours because they're just going to be ad-libbing and it's going to be amazing. We have front row seats. This is so good. But they're just so good. And it's very likely that very few of Nico's or Hype Faison's lines or Jim Rath's lines were even in the script to begin with.
Well, personally, like Nico was one of my favorites just because he's so like it's just interesting seeing him interact, because one of the great things about the show that I liked, I mean, obviously the movie characters are great and you have all these like big name heroes and yada yada yada, but they're not really relatable on like an everyday person level. And these characters are like, you could see yourself just stepping into their position and be like, oh, that would be something I would do in that position. And you know, one of my favorite things is like, he reminds me of this person that I know. She reminds me of that person that I know, just like in real life people. But did the characters have anything of that for you guys? Or was it like your characters reminded you of each other? Or was like someone else on the crew or the cast was like, oh no, you were very much more this character, even though you're not the one doing the voice for them, sort of thing?
Go ahead.
We were
This is
so
all you
well
guys picked up.
cast. We were so well cast. I think everybody was their character. I hate to kind of say that, but it did. Like Mary Elizabeth had a couple of speaking roles in it, as well as Freya and another racer. I can't remember her name, but they created a character just for her. Like they, from bottom up, were like, we want you to say funny things. We want you to say the cool hot chick you say. I don't know if we're allowed to say bad words. I apologize.
We'll Archie bleep it out for you later.
Thank you. Let it be put on the record, however, that I think Mary Elizabeth McGlynn is one hot chick. Anyway, that being said, they animated and illustrated an entirely new character just for her, and so that it would capture essentially her essence. And it's like, where else do you get to work where they will just create things for you? Like, it's so cool.
That kind of adds to the magic of it, though, because you become so passionate about your characters, I guess. Like, just if that's the case, you're throwing yourself into these characters and you become so passionate. And even off screen, it's so inspirational to see all, like, especially the voice actors for Star Wars, just how crazy they get about their own characters. And it's like, it makes you love the characters more because they put so much of them into it. And then you see like this extra passion being thrown into it. It's like, I'm really excited to like this person. And it's great to see that sort of stuff in these shows. And I wish they would show that more in the other ones, because again, like, they're not as relatable. Like, yeah, big crazy stormtrooper commander, but then you have like, you know, teenage resistance pilots, and it's like, oh, that could totally be something that I could see.
And I think that was one of the driving factors for our show, was to show that slice of life, what ordinary life was around the galaxy for people of ordinary characters. So yes, you can just sort of look around and be like, oh yeah, I know someone just like this character, and oh yeah, that's, you know, so very relatable and easy to relate to. Which is, I think, why I love so many of the characters in our show. They're just easy, you know?
Aside from your own characters, who are your favorites then?
Oh,
I like Joe Manganiello's character, the big minotaur-looking beast. Like, yeah. I'm all about the scary guys. And of course, it's Joe Manganiello, like, gorgeous man playing a gorgeous beast. I was like, makes sense.
Typecast. Speaking of gorgeous beings, I won't call her a beast. She doesn't know me, but she may still kill me. Xena Warrior Princess. What's her real name?
Lucy Lawless.
Yes,
the
queen.
Yes. That was definitely one of my favorite characters, of just like showing an entirely new species, and Lucy Lawless. Like, lost myself for that one for sure.
We all did the Xena cry too. Yeah. I can't even do it, but we were all doing that in the room. She's gonna come, and we're doing the voice like.
How unprofessional!
We were not very professional.
I really like Krog and Gore, played by Gary Anthony Williams. Like, I really loved watching him anyway, just because his voice was amazing with it. But just that character and the way like it looked, kind of being yeah, so I can't watch it without imagining Gary, which is because it's completely like, even the tentacles and everything, he really captured all of the movement in that face. So,
So
and
good.
about least favorite characters.
Can I just say one thing real quick? We had a moment. I'm gonna just tell a quick story because it popped in my head.
Yeah,
We had a moment where we're hanging out in the lunch area, right? And in walks a very famous celebrity A-list star. You may have seen him in Lord of the Rings, Elijah Wood. He walks in and he walks by the wall trying to keep cool. And right when he passed, we all go, yo, did you start whispering? And then he comes back, we're like, yo, yeah. And he's just kind of pulsed against the wall. And we're like, what do we do? And we're like having a conversation. And then I was like, screw it, I'm talking to him. Hey man, just what's up, dude? Hey, and we start chatting. And then we all were like, just tsunami of like, we think you're amazing, you're awesome. And he was like, yeah, cool, man, that's awesome. He was just real chill guy.
Sweetest person in the world. Nobody wanted to make eye contact with him because we were like, he's just gonna know we're nerds. But yeah, he like introduced himself to each one of us, and I was like, I know who you are, but okay. Yeah, so kind, so cool, and just as excited as us to be a part of anything Star Wars, which was just like, dude, you're Frodo. You don't have to like be ecstatic about anything.
Sorry, that was really one of the coolest moments of the show. I was like, dang.
Yeah, he was also one of my favorite characters. Not as a character, but he was one of my favorite storylines to see how the whole thing progressed, and then to the finale and stuff. But of course, the finale was a little sad on his part. But just the whole progression of the story with him and Tam, and like just going through all of it, and sort of like the knocking of heads in the squad and whatnot. It was really interesting to see that. And then you learn it's Elijah Wood, and you're like, oh, okay.
It was cool. It was really cool that they caught.
Did you get to work with him one-on-one, Suzie?
No, I was there that day in the lunchroom, so I do remember that story, but no. And we had a few scenes.
Elijah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Also, how cool is it that we got Bobby Moynihan and I can't remember his name. I apologize, from Saturday Night Live, when they did the undercover boss scene, and then they actually made it canonical in the Star Wars show by making our characters go like the same outfit. What were the engineer look? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, Matt the radar technician.
That's right, Matt the radar. And we all, that was great. What was that?
That one was, that one. Don't you also have that costume, Erin?
I may have a blonde wig, glasses, gray jumpsuit, and an orange vest somewhere in my closet.
Not all together.
Yeah. No, it's in different boxes. Yeah. And as a costumer, seeing that character, seeing that be brought from Saturday Night Live into the canon, I got all excited, like, oh, I can actually get approved in this now. That's one of the things I love about Star Wars fans is we grasp a hold of these fun little things. The boom mic guy, ice cream maker man, Matt the radar technician, and we just go crazy for them. I don't know if you saw at Celebration the running of the running of the hoods, which is the ice cream maker man's character, and at Celebration, a couple hundred people will dress up and just run around the convention hall chanting ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. I don't know if you saw that.
My favorite was the one who dressed up as the ice cream maker, running around with a small little doll
with a small doll. Yeah.
Well,
it's pretty fun.
Speaking of Celebration,
that was your. Did you get? Sorry, you go, Nina.
By all means, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, like, what's it like to see fans like us dressing up as your characters? Is it sort of like a weird, like, out of body, like, oh, this is a little creepy, or do you just get like super jazzed about it?
It's fun. I think like just super jazzed and like just feeding off of the energy. It's like nothing else. I think, it can only be positive because you're just like, yeah, and I want to wear my outfit and I'm gonna cosplay, and no, it's completely addictive and kind of like just the energy of wanting to join in the fun, really.
Yeah, same. I got lucky. I think it might be on my Instagram. If not, I will definitely make it a center point. There was a little girl. She must have only been like 4 or 5 years old. Came in with her whole family, head to toe, little tiny Toradoza, and I like lost it. Just like cried. Just the picture is of me looking at her because she just like created this whole Torah that I didn't touch her because she's a child, and you don't touch people that aren't your family unless it's okay. But what I'm trying to say was like, I just to like bring it to life and see a 3-dimensional experience and having her embody it. And then like the costume came out and my cousin got it, and I was like, oh no, it's another one. And by oh no, I mean oh yes. And it's just like, it's super overwhelming to me. I love seeing Toras. I love seeing little Toras everywhere. It's super overwhelming though.
I remember walking through Celebration and I saw a little Tam Rivora and I was like, no way, I got to introduce you to Suzie. Like I was freaking out. But I think it's a testament to the work that the team has done. Like when you see a Toradoza or a Tam Rivora or even a Kaz, you kind of go, wow, they really liked what we did. You know, we put our hearts and our souls and tons of blood into this. No, I'm kidding. No, we put everything we have into these roles. A wee bit. No, but we put so much of ourselves into these roles. So to see people love that and want to embody that, like that's pretty awesome. And I got to see some Japanese Americans portraying Kaz. I call it Kaz playing instead of cosplay. Jokingly. Well, I got to see some of that, and I was like, man, that is one of the coolest things because. For me, I didn't really have many role models growing up, and to be able to be gifted the opportunity to be a role model for Japanese or Asian Americans in general, like that was for me really, really important.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of Kaz, in terms of the whole series, he kind of starts out as the sort of cocky kid trying to make his way and prove himself and whatnot, and you just see this like personal growth for him through the whole series, especially after the season 1 and the whole planet, I don't want to say being destroyed because that's super sad, but the whole series with that, like you see this progression. I mean, obviously Tam had her sort of growth in that sort of, but like what was that like for him, just going from the beginning where you're just like this super cocky kid to like truly like someone who is making his mark in this whole resistance?
One thing I love about Star Wars is that they give the opportunity for every character to have an arc, to grow, to develop into a hero themselves. The great thing about Kaz was I, in many ways, am Kaz. Like I've made so many mistakes in my life, and I still do continuously make mistakes. And with Kaz, it was like I get to kind of be that ego-driven, cocky, I can kind of do anything type attitude, and then develop into the man that the hero, the leader that he became. And it's fun to enjoy that and still embody the clumsy, silly, not think things through, just kind of jump into it. Still have that quality about him as well, but making fewer mistakes. But again, I think the most fun is finding that in the character, finding the areas where he finally makes a decision that's selfless rather than selfish. And when you start to see those choices happening, you start to see the evolution of the character. And those are my favorite moments, rather than Kaz breaking down again when his planet was destroyed. He was like, Torah was like, let's go. We can't. He's like, you're right. We have to keep going. We can't stop. We are the resistance now. We have to do this. And to see that, it was great. It was a nice moment of growth.
Speaking of Torah, one of the things I liked was that she had such a big heart and she was always so loving. Like she just exuded this goodness about her. And a lot of it's not very, you don't see that a lot in Star Wars. Usually it's very just sort of extremes, but she was just so good, but she was so badass too. And that's the thing that's like, usually you have, if they're a really good character, like that's their entire personality, but she was like, I'm a good character. I'm a badass at what I do, but I'm not like super like, she was kind of like the opposite. She wasn't cocky about it. She was very humble and was just like, I just want to be friends with everybody, and I want everyone to love each other. And like, I love that sort of thing about her. But how much of that was coming from you, Myrna? Like,
All of it. I'm not a competitive person. No. I'm just really loving. No, I would say, it's Tora. All of these characters are a little bit of us, but also created to give people a better or deeper is a nicer word, deeper perception of like what beings in the Star Wars universe can be. And I was kind of the one that was like, no, I'm gonna stay bubbly because that's just kind of my thing. But on top of it, my my reasoning, and I kind of maybe at some points battled with Justin Ringer, executive producer, about it for a while, that he wanted her to be tougher, and Mary Elizabeth is like, you gotta toughen up, girl, you gotta toughen up. But my like one real justification of keeping her bubbly was like, look, if she's got a team member like Hype Faison, who is always joking, always saying how he's the best, you guys got nothing on me, a tough person is going to crack under that kind of pressure. I'm just saying, like, someone who is overtly like, no, I gotta keep it together, may not mesh well with someone who is perpetually joking. So my thought was like, if and we spent kind of do you guys remember the shorts that we did? We spent a lot of time working on this one short where it was a race between Hype and Tora. And that was the one where they were like, but why is she so bubbly? And I was like, because it's healthy competition. Tora is a product of healthy competition. And she can't, the stakes for her existence were so much lower up until the First Order arrived to their world. So to me, it was just always like, Tora can be bubbly, and you can be silly, and you can have fun, and you can also know when you got to take down the First Order. But in my opinion, you don't want a team full of people who are just like, you gotta take them down, and bloodshed, murder. Like, you need someone. There's parts of me that are like that as well, Christopher. I know you didn't know that. But
Tora was the youngest, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that too. Is like there has to be a well of hope. There has to be a lightheartedness. Otherwise, how do you survive on this water planet with just you and the 12 other people in the Colossus? Like, it ain't. You gotta have some joy. So I was a big fighter on just kind of keeping the joy for Tora, where they finally saw it come to life. I think was those Hype moments, and those moments that we could play, and I got to learn from Donald Faison and be like, see, like, we're silly, we're the ace pilots. and it made, I think, for a better turn once we were actually engaging the First Order and trying to save Tam, because underdogs, right?
She also seems like one of the only characters who has both incredibly supportive parents. That's very rare.
Yeah, right? You're gonna get a like happy-go-lucky person if both parents are like, yeah, kid, high five. At least that's my hope. I don't know.
Yeah, but she must have been going through some stuff, because her mum was absent for, I'm guessing, a long time. So that must be worrying for a 13-year-old girl, or
and that's absolutely, thank you, Suzie. That's absolutely why I love the episode where we reveal Vanessa Doza, Tora's mom. Because I think a little bit before that, Tora has a birthday. Thank you guys for giving me a birthday.
Jelly cake.
Yeah. And yeah, there were moments of vulnerability, especially in that episode, before the jelly cake, where she is hurt, but she is perpetually put in this world of adults, so she is supposed to understand that, like, it's not personal, kid. Your mom made a greater than your life decision, and she can be both, and sometimes she's not going to be here right now for you in this moment. And that's why you fortify yourself with friends and family members who can give you support and love. And, why not exude that? Why not express that back to them, and be grateful that, they gave me a birthday party.
But I wanted to ask, there was a question I wanted to ask about your action figures. As you can see from Nina and I, our backgrounds are very full of stuff. I'm curious, when your action figures came out, number one, oh my God. Was that the main gift that your families and friends received that year for Christmas from you? Did everyone in their stocking get their little Kaz, their little Tam, their little Tora? If it was me, I would do that.
Sorry, I didn't get one. So all I have to say, if I have one thing to say that is probably like, the like was that we didn't get a Tam doll. So I would, I don't know how that feels, guys. Please, enlighten us. But I was really excited about the toys, and I did buy some for my little nephew and whatnot. So, but yeah, no Tam.
It's a little heartbreaking because they released the first wave. Very excited about the first wave, and I was more excited about the second wave because I was going to include more of the cast. And like I said, it's not about me, it's about the family. And I was very excited for Tam to have it, and so many other of the characters in the show. I don't believe Nico has one either, right? Am I mistaken?
I don't think so. I think that we had Yiga,
Yeager and Bucket,
and Kaz
and
Tora, and then we have the gold
Captain Pyre.
We have the red
Lex
Trooper,
played that character.
Lex Line.
Yeah.
Really cool. Did we
Can't remember his name, I'm sorry.
Regular Stormtrooper?
But yeah, I mean,
sorry.
it was definitely one of those heartbreaking moments where, because the show didn't make it onto the when it transferred from cable to the streaming networks, we got canceled. We didn't have the opportunity for the next wave of toys to come, which would have included so many more of the family. So for me, I'm very heartbroken about that. But yes, I did search every single Walmart to find that toy. And when I did, my dad was there with me. So he's been my good luck charm. So the first one I bought, I gave to my parents.
Speaking of heartbreaking.
I can tell you, Suzie, the fans love the character because I have seen custom made figures of your character. So I know that there are people out there who would like to see an official one be made.
And I didn't mean to like bring a negative vibe to it. I was only playing.
I question.
One and I didn't. But and I've seen some of the Lego pieces and really, really cool. And anytime I see anything Tam, it just makes my day. So yeah, agreed with you. It doesn't have to be made by anyone in particular to kind of put the love out there. So no. But please, this is not about me.
I'm finding one and I'm sending it to you. There we go. We're getting to get you a custom Tam figure just for yourself.
Please make a custom Tam. Please make a custom Tam. And a Flix and Orca for Bob, because Bob is a huge fan. He's a huge collector.
Oh yeah. Better yet,
just his own R2D2.
Well, we were talking beforehand a little bit before we started recording about how much, like, we were pretty much just nerding out about the show, just how much we love it and how disappointed, like truly heartbroken we were that they decided not to continue on with the series. And we've all agreed that we're going to start a new hashtag trend, hashtag bring back the resistance. And we're going to start it so it comes back, because I mean, even down to the animation. I mean, it was a new style to be seen in a lot of the Star Wars stuff. I mean, the cell shading style was not really something you saw, and just the way that the characters interacted. I mean, it was something new, and it might have been like a little bit of the newness, because obviously, like even Clone Wars when it first came out, everyone was just kind of like, yeah, this is all right, I guess. And then it takes a couple seasons to kick in, and then it was just like, okay, no, this is something I can really get into, like, and Resistance had the 2 seasons, and they were so good, but I mean, obviously it didn't have the chance to get the 3rd, but it will, because we are going to petition and we will get it brought back, because it is just that good of a show.
Well, there's lots of things to kind of say towards that. And first of all, it's like in today's climate, we stream stuff, and it does take a while for things to kick in, and to kind of get feedback on stuff, but it makes complete sense, that they would end the story where it did. So it's a bittersweet thing, really, because we want more, but a story has to conclude where it concludes. But yeah, hashtag bring it back.
Suzie, that's like the most British thing I think I've heard you ever say. Like, it was so beautiful.
Our show, we were nominated for a Primetime Emmy. We were nominated for 2 Primetime Emmys, right?
Yeah.
And we won the Saturn Award. So, the Saturn Award, people could say, oh, you paid for that, but you can't pay for a Primetime Emmy nomination. As much as I wanted to, they wouldn't let me. But no, but I mean, honestly, like this is a really, really good show, and a lot of people had a lot of negative things to say. But again, we put everything we had into these roles, and for us, our job was to open up the world to the youth of Star Wars fans, right? To be the introductory step for these this new world, this new generation. And I feel like our show really hit that on the head. So I know a lot of children. I just met someone the other day. I was in Arizona. A gentleman had a tattoo on his arm, and I said, oh, it's a Star Wars tattoo. He said, yeah, I love Darth Vader, and oh man, my kids love Resistance. And I said, my man, Resistance? Let me tell you a little bit about Resistance. He's like, what? And we started talking, and that's the thing. These kids love the show. And that's just it. We all remember our introductory movie or series that brought us into the Star Wars universe. And I'm just really happy. And I feel like, Suzie and Myrna, I hope you feel the same in reference to the fact that we get to be that first step, for these children.
I'm incredibly proud. And it was a courageous show, because new style of animation, a diverse cast of characters, with so many things. It has and has, because it's still on Disney Plus, so much to offer, for everybody, for all of the family. So it's like, if you haven't seen it, give it a chance, because you might just love it.
You will love it. You will. Look at Myrna's energy. You would love it. Look at Suzie. You will love it.
Love it.
Just hanging out with us for 22 minutes at a time.
Well, speaking of hanging out, I had the opportunity to be at the panel you guys had at Celebration Chicago. And I can tell you, it's not just kids that love the show. Like, I was in the audience. I saw how many adults were in that room, and how many of us cheered when they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to give you a sneak peek of, the first episode of season 2. Everyone went ballistic. It was just like an uproar. It was so good. Like, the audience is there, the material is there, the story is there. Obviously, the characters are there. They did an amazing job casting for the characters. So even if it does not get to continue, it did leave a mark, and it is one of my favorite shows that has come out for the Star Wars stuff.
Thank you.
One of the neat things that's happening with streaming is, just because a show ends, that's not the end of that character's story.
Exactly.
These characters can pop up in other
Anywhere.
Stories. We're seeing that happen. And so I'm really hopeful to see what's going to happen. Where is Kaz, after the fall of the First Order? What's he doing? Where's he at?
Plot twist.
Did you see us in the Rise of Empire?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question. Did you see you in Exegol? It's there.
You guys see us in that final battle? Myrna's kicking butt, and Suzie, they're all there.
It was amazing. This is the best experience of my life, filming that scene.
But see, with the way that they're writing stories now and including stuff in the comics, it is very possible that they will pop up. Like we've had characters from all eras of Star Wars that are now, especially in that scene, just because there's so much in there. It's like, oh yeah, they're totally right there. They're right there. It's an absolute possibility that the characters could continue in some other media or platform series, which is kind of hopeful.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's like it lets you devour all forms of media when it comes to your favorite thing, you know. And it's like, yeah, get into the comic books. I'm currently reading the Darth Maul comic, and it's really great. So I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then like the novels are incredible. So it's easy to find your characters. It is, and don't be discouraged because, to the fans, don't be discouraged because we only have those 2 seasons as of right now. We may also have comic books. We may also have full-length novel. That would be awesome to see how Tam grows up. Oh, gotta know.
See how many promotions she gets in the Resistance now.
He's obviously going to be a big shot, you know.
One thing I do really love is the fact that they really made strong female lead role models. You know, like again, Tam and Suzie, Tam and Tora, both characters were so strong. And you know, as you watch them grow, they just get better and better and stronger, and little girls are going to see that and be like, I want to be strong like that. And I love that. Absolutely love that. We need more of that.
I never had a Tam when I was growing up. And that's really cool. That's really cool. So yeah, I don't have much to say. I just, I think we just leave it there. I never had a Tam when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily Resistance related, but sort of on the same thread. One of my main costume is actually a male character, and you don't see my face or anything at all. Like I'm completely covered. It's full mask Darth Revan. Well, one time at a troop.
That's awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, I love the character so much. But I was at a troop, and it was for a family event. This family was having sort of a welcoming home for their son from some medical treatments. And the little sister was there, and she was standing there waiting for her brother to come back or come with the vehicle train that was coming. And she heard me talk, because obviously you can't tell that I'm a female in any sense. And I said something to one of my friends who was standing next to me, and she went and go, "It's a girl under there." And she got so excited about the fact that, because all these other characters were either male characters or they were other females who were in like stormtrooper buckets and stuff, and they couldn't tell. But she went, "It's a girl under," like on camera to the news people that were there. It's like, that's to this day one of my favorite moments from any troop, because again, like, as someone, same situation, you really didn't have those kind of characters growing up, where you're just like, obviously there was Leia and like a couple of the comic characters, but they weren't as big. But being able to see more main female characters, especially on the show, was just like, oh, it's
More
so great to
options,
have
yeah.
representation.
Nina, in that moment, did your lightsaber light up and you were like, young lady?
That would have been perfect.
Sorry, bad joke.
But it's so true, right? Growing up, all we had was Leia, and now we have this huge selection of other female characters. Like Nina, I've had those experiences being in a helmet and having little not little girls, but little boys go, "That dude's a chick." And like, yes, I am. And I had a conversation with a little girl once when I was dressed as a stormtrooper, and it blew her mind that was an option for her. And I heard her, she was leaving with her mom, "When I grow up, I want to be a stormtrooper." There's just like those moments of like, yes, you can.
And it's not even just the representation as like the character being there, because obviously you could do like, oh, we're just going to insert female characters here and there to fill the quota of diversity.
quota.
But no, they're truly badass characters. They're engineers, they're pilots, like they
Fleshed out
know their
characters.
stuff. They have jerry-rigged massive spaceships to work when there was nothing going. It's like, to see that is like, they're not just there to fill a margin and be like, we're going to check this off the list sort of thing of like, you know, going that sort of route, but they actually, one, they massively contribute to the story, and two, they do so in a way that is not degrading or demeaning. It is actually very inspiring, especially someone for me who's like, I come from a STEM background. So seeing that sort of thing is like, yes, I'm so happy to see that sort of representation.
Girls doing math.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, yeah, and to just kind of add to that point, that we not only were the female characters not just dropped in to fit the quota, but they were also not dropped in to be rescued.
Exactly.
And that like was so like, going back to Tam's character, it's like, it's so easy to say that Yeager and the gang rescued her. No, she had to rescue herself, and she had to know how to leave that situation, that bad relationship with the First Order.
That toxic relationship.
Yeah, it just wasn't working, Tam. But it's true that she had to choose herself and choose not living in that kind of environment in order for anybody in the Colossus to even break through to her. And that is like such a huge just theme that I think is like vitally important, that girls do watch Resistance, because we do see how applicable it is, running away from the First Order is, to all of our life situations.
We've all run away from our own First Order.
Right? And I just think like it was such a vitally important message to tell, that like, we're not here to just be rescued. We're very capable. We do math and science, and we hold spaceships together.
Absolutely.
In teams and storylines, and so much more in families. Like you guys, like in our show, like one thing I absolutely love is just again the strength. And you both of you, Myrna and Suzie, you guys really embodied that, and you are both born leaders. So I'm just honored to have worked with you.
Thank you. And I am to you both also. So it's so nice to get together, you know. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for bringing us back together.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good to have you all with us. Thank you for being here. And like I was saying earlier, it's always great seeing, especially with the voice actors, the interactions between the actors, because you become so close knit, and because you're in a box with each other recording, as you were saying. It's so, even outside of the whole Star Wars thing, just sitting, listening to you guys talk before the panel started, just, you know, recollecting like, oh, how have you been? Like, you know, your hair looks longer, like even stuff like that, like just seeing how you guys have like are catching up and stuff. It's nice to see that it's not just a job in a sense. Like it's nice to see that it had an impact in your lives together outside of just recording. That's always inspiring to see.
There's nothing cooler than being part of the second largest movie franchise in the history of entertainment. There's nothing better than be a canonical part of the Star Wars family. Like there's nothing cooler to say, yeah, we're Star Wars. How cool is that, right? And then you do it with these fine people. It's amazing.
Well, I'll just say that I don't know about you guys, just a little more heartfelt than we're in the biggest franchise. This was my first series regular on anything. So to have been able to learn from Christopher and gain just such a deep friendship with Suzie it was my first job, so I felt like I had to please everybody. But then to walk in with these two, and it just felt like I was taken care of, and I had a big brother and a big sister, big same age sister, a twin sister, and it was such a cherry on top to like say, oh, it's for Star Wars, I'm working for Star Wars. But it was more important to me that like I got to have you guys there, and I got to learn from you and feel like I was a real girl next to you guys.
So
You
what
know,
was
the
it like when you
interesting
guys
thing,
got
just
the
to tag up
call?
on what you're saying, like for me, I had one voiceover audition prior to booking Star Wars. So my first voiceover audition, I got to producers for Voltron. And I was like reading for Red Line, where Stephen Yen got it, who's now the Academy Award nominated actor. Well, the first one of the one of like there's not many Asian American representation, so it was really cool to see him be nominated for best lead actor. But yeah, he beat me out, and I was like, hey, dude, Walking Dead, huge fan. That's amazing. And then all of a sudden, like, I got a call from my agent in New York saying, hey, dude, who are you? Because Lucasfilm's calling for you. And I was like, who are you? And then we went back and forth, and he's like, I'm coming to LA. We gotta meet. And he's like, yeah, this team wants to meet with you. We don't know how big the role is, but I was like, this is my second audition, like, ever for voiceover. And here we are now, right?
Well, that was going to be my next question, is what was it like when you guys were doing the auditions, or were there auditions? How did that work? And then when you actually got the call that you got the parts, like, what was that like for you?
Well, I'll just finish up real quick. When I walked into the room for the call back to producer session, they were like, hi, I'm Athena, I'm Justin, I'm Brandon, I'm Mandy, I'm Troy, I'm Josh. And I was like, okay, nice to meet you. And they're like, we don't expect you to remember your names. Like, no, I got you all memorized. And they were like, okay. And I came back and I reintroduced myself to everyone, calling them by their names. And then Troy in the back was like, just give the man the job already. And I was like, yeah. So they gave me this utmost confidence when I walked into the room. And Justin and Brandon came in. They're like, this is the lowdown. And I was like, I think I got an idea. Let's rock and roll. And it was amazing. That was my experience.
That's really cool. I remember, so my experience was I went in for a callback and I left my water bottle and it had my name on it. For some reason I had taken off, you know, like the label maker. For some reason I had a label with my name on it and I just stuck it on this water bottle. And I remember leaving that, and I kind of got in the car and I was gone, you know, halfway down the street. And then there was a phone call from Lindsay, our casting director, and she was like, Suzie, I think you've left your water bottle. I'll leave it at the front desk and you can come back and get it or whatever. And I went back and I was like, I'm going to start leaving my stuff everywhere, you know? I'm going to leave a little something with my name on here, just so you know, future. That was that one. And then on another audition, I got to kind of meet Christopher and Myrna also, which was very, very fun. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Suzie was the only one reading against other people, and I was like, you got the job, you got it. Remember that?
Yeah. After the audition, I saw Christopher and he kind of drove up and he stopped and he was like, you've got the audition. No, congratulations. He was like, congratulations. And I was like, thanks. He was like, you've totally got the job. And I was like, no, I didn't believe you, but yeah, you were spot on. And I think it was Myrna as well, because we were there together.
That's right. Yeah.
We were just there like, oh, hi, you know.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how utterly clueless I was the entire test reading, because they called it Project something or rather instead of Star Wars, and they gave us dummy sides. But I'm such a nerd. I was like, who is this for? What is this for? My agents were like, can't tell you. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pretend it's for Star Wars because it's this fighter pilot, but I'm going to make it like it's Battlestar Galactica style Star Wars. Okay, I'm going to go with this character. And I was just so utterly clueless the entire time, just living in my own little, like, I created this and watch, it's going to be like something else, you know, gonna be Lord of the Rings animated series or something. But I was just as clueless the entire time. I walk into our chemistry read with Suzie and Christopher, and everybody else who was already in the cast. And I was just like, yeah, they're just having me test out Latin accents because they want a Latina for this role, but I'm not gonna get it. And I'd never like put it into my mind that I was actually auditioning for this role. And I was just like, man, when they bring in that other Latina, they're gonna really see what a Latina sounds like. And yeah, I think Christopher, he was being so nice to everybody. He was like, you got the role. No, I know you got it. Oh, congratulations, you got the role. So I 100% was like, no, I was just here to like give them Latin accent options. Bye, have a great time recording. Yeah, and then a week later they were like, okay, so my agents were like, so Zero, did you figure out it was Star
Zero.
Wars?
Good
That's
memory.
what it was, right? Yes,
Zero.
okay, yeah, Zero. Watch, I start using that, and then they can
But
never.
it did have a
use it again.
project name as well. It's had a few names.
It did. Yeah. So my agents were like, so that's Star Wars. And I was like, cool, because I was really pretending it was Star Wars. So I'm glad that worked out for me. Yeah, and then they were like, so you got the part, you know that, right? And I was like, no, what happened to the other Latina they wanted? Never occurred to me that I was the Latina they wanted.
Dude, I still remember the dummy sides. This is my line. Well, I never said I actually beat him. I said I almost matched his record. Almost. Nearly. Very close. That was my Kaz line that every single time I was like, what does Kaz sound like? And I always like said that to myself and then went into my line. But Lex Lang did that also, remember? What was his line?
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, or whatever. What was that? Like,
oh no, I remember the one he would use for the Emperor or something. He'd always like put his hands together. I don't remember.
he did one for Oscar Isaac. He did one for that.
Oh yeah.
Before they got Oscar Isaac. I'm coming for you. So he would just shout it and then start his lines. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. And it's like, maybe I'll do that. And so I took that from him, where I would say my line prior in my head sometimes or out loud to like know the vibe and the feel and the voice of my character. It was fun. It's a good trick. If any voice actors who need that, try and utilize that. Once you create a character, get a little tagline. That'll help you. No.
Right.
Oh, look at that. That's great. That's great. What was it like recording with some of the actors from the film, having Oscar Isaac and Gwendolyn Christie? Were they in the studio with you when they were recording?
Yeah, Christopher.
Not Gwendolyn Christie. Not Gwendolyn Christie. I never worked with her. Again, I was lucky enough to work with Oscar Isaac. They kind of pulled me aside, like, hey, do you want to do this? I was like, yes, I would love to work with Oscar Isaac in New York. They flew me out there and I heard that he was doing Hamlet. So they actually got me tickets. Oscar Isaac got me tickets to see him perform Hamlet. So I watched him the night before perform Hamlet. He is probably one of the best actors I've ever seen. And then the next day, I remember thinking, I'm going to show up an hour early. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be so like just on point for this guy because he's creme de la creme. And I walk, and I'm kind of like sprint walking as I try and get to the studio. And there he is. He's already sipping tea. He's like, hey, man, what's up? Love your character. You're doing great stuff. And I'm like, how did he beat me here? Like, what the heck? So we get into the room, and he's one of those actors that he's so talented that he kind of guides you as an actor. So you know kind of which way he's so good that you already know what he wants from you, right? But the trick is to be a good actor, you kind of want to challenge the natural choice. And then you kind of want to give him something to challenge him to also make him have fun as well. So he would give me something and I would go with it. He'd give me something, I would go with it. And I tried to hit him with the curveball. So it was like this ongoing tennis match, so that he was still being challenged as well. And he was doing Hamlet. At the point, he started getting steroid shots into his throat. So he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do more than one episode. And I was just like, dude, let's just try and get as much as we can because this guy's time is precious and limited. So we started working together and we were laughing our butts off and we were having a good time. And soon enough, he was like, no, it's fine. I'll stay. Let's keep doing this. I'm really enjoying it. And I was like, and then Justin and Brandon were like, and Athena were like, you guys have so much chemistry. And I was like, it's not me, it's him. Like anyone can work with him. He's that good, mean, he's amazing.
So when are you going to tell him he should work with me?
I called him. I'm texting him. He's blocked my number, I think. I'm like, listen, you know, we're Myrna and Suzie. No, he's a great guy. I don't have his number. I don't have his information. Don't blow me up, guys. It was a treat. Honestly, it was. I felt bad because I wasn't allowed to say anything, but at the same time, it's one of those opportunities you don't want to pass up.
I remember every time you would like go out of town or just come back from town, I would always be like, Christopher, just like give us a little, you in Avatar 2? You're in Avatar 2, aren't you, man? And he would just like squeeze, do that thing, and then like squeeze and not be able to say anything. And just like his face would just light up as like, I can't say it, but I want to say it. And those are just like the funnest moments of just trying to figure out what Christopher was up to next.
Are you guys working on some new projects right now? I want to know. I want to hear what you guys are working on. I can say I'm working on Netflix's You right now. We just finished filming. They announced me in the series. I'll be in season 3, 4 episodes. It's awesome. And then a couple of things.
Congratulations. Yeah. I've got a couple of episodes of Madagascar Gone Wild, Madagascar A Little Wild out. It's just the cutest thing in the whole wide world. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say exactly what character I am, but I am Latina in that as well, just not in human form.
So what character was it again? I missed that.
You know, not human one.
Not human one.
Oh no, yeah, working on something that I can't talk about, but soon you'll know, pretty soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
So here's the other recording question. If you were able to sit and record with any artist and or actor of any time period, who would it be?
That's actually really funny because that automatically made me think about how Christopher was talking about acting as though it were a sport akin to tennis. And I'm like, I've never played sports. What do you mean, sir? But that's all I have to say about that. I haven't actually thought about the question. But I am thinking about who would be a good talk artist-wise.
I think I probably would be in a Shakespeare play, like, and I would be a man dressed up as a woman, as they did at the Globe Theatre, and I would be, you know, performing for the king or something. But I think I would go all the way.
So you would travel back in time.
Yeah. See, I had this conversation the other day, and I was asked if you could be from any period of time, what period of time would you be from? And I was like, I probably like, I love ancient Egypt, so I possibly would give that a go. And I love like Tudor England, and so it probably would be around there. And then my girlfriend was like, I would like just be like 15 years younger than now, because everything, like, she loves technology and progression and like where we are. And I'm like, actually, it would be a much easier life. But yeah, I feel like I would definitely, if I could work with anyone, it would be Shakespeare. Come on.
Another canon British statement.
I mean, I respect that. For me, I'm more entranced in like kind of what's happening now, because I mean, I really have the utmost respect for actors these days, because it's a different form. It's stillness and subtleties, right? So for me, I would want to work with like a Meryl Streep and try my hand at working with somebody as eclectic as her and all of her characters and her choices. And of course, Anthony Hopkins, because who doesn't love those two, right? Like, I feel like they are the powerhouse, the amalgamation of what acting is for me. Like, and I see that and I go, if there were to have a master's class of acting, like, I would be front and center. And to work with them, I would have my Star Wars notebook like Suzie, and I would sit and drink my tea like Myrna, and I would just be entranced.
Now that I'm thinking about it, thank you guys for such good ideas. I agree that I think I want it to be more like someone that I could, if you're out there watching, I'd love to take classes from you. But like a Doug Jones, someone who does creature acting and is all like physical acting. I can't remember the name. If you guys watched Legion, one of the Terrys, the male Terry, I forget his real name. I'm so sorry. But like actors who like won't just have you sit there and talk with them, but someone who'll just be like, okay, get up, let's do the thing. While we're on this podcast, let's see what happens. Like that's where I think I differ, is that I from Christopher, is that I want it to be more of an experimental experience and just having fun with this meat costume we wear as actors, and have it resonate through the voice is something that I would find really fascinating. So yeah, like a Sam Witwer or a Doug Jones, or these people who use their bodies to create these voices.
Andy Serkis, Schmeagol.
Yes. Oh, Andy Serkis. Yeah. So if you're listening, Andy Serkis, I am willing to take class.
Or rolling around on the ground with Benedict Cumberbatch for
dream date. So I'm gonna go learn how to be a dragon from Benedict Cumberbatch now.
Have you tried performance capture?
No, that's the new horizon. That was I got nothing done this pandemic, guys. So if you got nothing done, that's okay. But that is definitely like the horizon of what I'm a consummate learner. I love to learn stuff. So I think that's the next thing I want to learn. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about
It'll
you,
be
Ben?
interesting to see how that goes, especially with them experimenting with new animation styles for these shows, just to see how that's going to go in the future of the Star Wars stuff. I mean, they obviously use it a lot for the video games, but to see it actually applied to a lot of the shows and whatnot, that'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Erin, do you have anything else? I know we're coming up on time here soon.
I was just looking at our time, and I think we're good. Any final thoughts on just the family that loves you, the Star Wars fandom that loves you and embraces you and the show? And if you were to meet a stranger on the street and you had to give them that elevator pitch of what Resistance is and why they need to watch it, what would your pitch be? And I want to hear Nina's, because I know how much Nina loves the show. I want to hear Nina's reply. What is her
I'll go
pitch?
after.
No, maybe Nina should start to give us a general idea of what to say.
Start.
At least make us like really prepared.
Well, as I said before, it's Star Wars for the everyday person, where you can actually see yourself jumping into the role and feeling it as the characters do, because it's relatable to the everyday person. It's on a level that transcends just movie magic, and it actually brings you into the characters because you could be the characters. There you go.
Dang. That's quite the pitch. Yeah. Cheers. Yeah. Smooth jazz coming off that tongue.
Jazz. Mama. I don't know.
You guys want to try at it, or you want me to jump in?
Do it, Kazuda.
That's the heart of the show.
I'd say, you know what? If you love Star Wars and you love your family, this is a show for you. Because
Ooh, that's a good one.
I would say if you're looking to have a great time, if you're looking to have a great laugh, if you're looking to open up the Star Wars universe more, if you're looking to see beautiful art style created by Amy Beth Christensen, if you're looking to really just get lost in more of the Star Wars lore, then this show is for you. Because everything Star Wars is great, and you should take your shot at our show. No. Yes. That's it.
Great.
Shark
I
Tank.
mean, I'd give it like a
casting.
6 compared to Nina's 10 out of 10. You know, I'd
Put you down at a -5.
I win again. This is golf.
I guess I'm talking a lot of smack, so I better throw one down too, huh? I would say that yes, this exploration of the Star Wars universe is for the entire family, even and especially if you think you don't like Star Wars. It's for the young girls who have never had a strong female role model. It's for kids and adults that love complex storylines and character development. And it's for people who also like, jokes about lost pets or farts. It's for everybody. And, what better time than now as well to really find the intricacies of a one station planet. And we all know what it feels like to be trapped in one station now. So why not find your character that you can identify with through Star Wars Resistance?
Smooth jazz, baby. Smooth jazz.
Jazz.
That's a good
I
one.
don't think I can come after that. I'm not sure I've got the elevator pitch together. Shall I go? Yeah, so I would say, Star Wars Resistance is a show. It has a little something for everyone. And if you want to feel good, like I sit down and I watch shows all the time and I have a specific thing that I want to do. And sometimes I just want to feel good and I want to laugh a lot with, the whole family. That's really cool. I could say something like some heroes stick to the plan, others wing it. That's that was on our first poster, and I just thought that was kind of cool and kind of goofy and fun. Yeah. So yeah. So
what a
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting
so good. So good.
Smooth jazz.
Dang.
Well,
Let me try again. Let me just.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, okay.
This isn't a competition.
It's not a competition. It's a friendly competition. Well,
If I did it again, you added my score together, it would still not match Nina's. This is ridiculous. I hate this.
Nina's pretty awesome. Well, I was watching an interview with Dave Filoni, and he said when you strip away the lightsabers and the space battles and all of that auxiliary stuff in Star Wars, what you have is a story about family. And that is what Resistance is about. It's a story about family that you can watch with your family. And that's what I love about it. It's at the heart of what Star Wars is. So, all right. And with that, we're gonna finish up today.
Hot. Oh, that was good.
It's still pretty much better than me, but Christopher, Suzie, Myrna, thank you so much for joining Nina and I today. We really appreciate taking time out of your day to talk with us, sharing your experiences about Star Wars Resistance. And to everyone watching, if you've not watched it, go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. It's a perfect weekend binge. You're gonna love it. Don't forget, we are supporting First Robotics, so click that link below. Thank you everyone for joining us, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.